So you all know this already, don't you? How you feed a baby. If you've got a newborn baby, it's 1 day old, what do you give it?
Breast milk.
Who said breast milk? Nobody did. You said breast milk? You give it breast milk? Do you just give it breast milk? You can give it... What else can you give it? Bottle milk.
Rusk.
You give a 1 day old baby a rusk.
I love rusk.
Okay. Anybody else think you give a 1 day old baby a rusk?
No.
Why not?
It's got no teeth.
It's got no teeth?
They can't eat.
Okay, one at a time.
They can't eat food like straight away. It's like after a certain amount of time.
They can't digest it.
Okay, they can't digest it. That's very important. How big is a new baby's tummy? How big is its stomach? So it's really tiny. So it doesn't need very much.
That's why they drink milk, because it powdered milk.
So it's just powdered milk or breast milk.
Yeah.
And so to find out what 13-year-olds in Folkestone think about breastfeeding, I asked them, is it a natural thing to do or is using a bottle easier?
Do you all think breastfeeding is kind of a natural thing to do, or do you think it's really... Why would you... I'm going to come around here. Why would you bottle feed your baby?
Because I feel like it's... I don't know, I just rather prefer bottle feeding my babies than...
Do you think it's like weird and unnatural, or do you think...
No, it's just that, I don't know. I feel like my body's my body.
Yeah?
I wouldn't like to give it to my, babies.
Okay. What do you think?
I just feel a bit like Trumpy in a way.
Yeah?
I think that sounds horrible because obviously it's your baby, but like if your baby's used to breastfeeding and say you're like out and you like it ain't that sort of place that you can do that, like then you'd feel a bit uncomfortable, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like with a bottle you can just wherever you can just give it to them.
It used to be that it was illegal for you to breastfeed in public, and people could actually ask you to leave the room if you were breastfeeding, and they've now changed that so that nobody can ask you to leave the room, and they can't ask you to go and breastfeed in the loo. They used to say to women, if you want to breastfeed, go to the loo. Anybody else want to eat their dinner in the loo? Not really.
The thought of feeding in public is a worry for any new mum, and over this week on Academy FM we've been visiting places in the Folkestone area where you can get help and support in feeding your baby the way you want to. Go along to any Sure Start Children's Centre, the B48s in the centre of town, or the Village on Denmark Street, or Caterpillars in Cheriton, and the Children's Centre next to Tesco's in Hawkinge. The children's centres are usually signposted to make them easier to find. And if you're pregnant, go along and meet some mums and get a taste of what it's going to be like when your baby arrives.
It'd be easier to breastfeed.
Why do you think it's easier to breastfeed?
Because it's like you don't have to get up and heat up loads of bottles. You can just whack it out. And then they can... It's free. You don't have to pay for it either.
Excellent. Very good points. Who thinks it's going to be easier to bottle feed? Why do you think it's going to be easier to bottle feed?
Because you don't have to get your boob out and then just get the bottle out the bag and just feed instead of
So you've got to make it as well, though.
Yeah, but no, you make
In
it
some
before
ways
you go
it'll
out.
in some ways it'll be easier to bottle feed because you can share it with someone. Like you can ask your friend or your partner to do it.
What do you mean by sharing? You mean you weren't sharing the bottle, but you were sharing as in someone
sharing, taking turns in case if you're tired or something, you can give it to a friend or your partner.
Okay then, I think we're going to get a couple of you to make up a bottle of formula, because then we can start talking about what happens to the milk once it's in the bottle. So I need 2 volunteers, please. Hang on, you've talked a lot. You there? What was your name? Emily. Okay then, you can go over, pop the kettle on, and you are. Go on then.
So to give the students an idea of what it might be like, off they went to the kettle armed with a bottle and some formula to make up some milk, with the added distraction of the sound effects of a baby crying, which some thought really annoying.
So you've got the bottle, you've got the formula, and you've got a new baby.
Yeah.
Bring my mate.
You're going to ring your mate.
Oh, that's annoying.
I think your baby needs feeding.
What?
So what have you got there?
Boil kettle with fresh tap water. Cool cool it for no. It's got to cool for half an hour.
Yeah, you've got to do it on your roof.
Right. Into the sterilised bottle carefully.
On the bottle, it's got like.
Empty the complete sachet of SMA. Infant milk into the bottle.
So I got water.
Wait, does this go in first?
And it was interesting to see that the introduction of the baby crying did add a sense of urgency. It was also an opportunity to ask burning questions, and no question is silly.
Does whatever you drink come out, or is it just milk that comes out of your boobs?
It's just milk that comes out of your boobs.
I thought it was a gravy come out.
No, but if you've had lots of garlic or lots of onions, yeah,
Oh, we got others.
yeah, that's what they are. They're udders.
Udders.
Yeah. You know what sort of animal are you? You know you're an animal. What sort of animal are you?
I'm a lion.
You're a lion. You're a mammal. You're a mammal.
Yeah.
Because you've got mammalian glands, which are your boobs. Mammals. So all mammals are animals who are going to feed their baby milk that they've produced in their body.
What about birds?
So birds don't do that. They feed regurgitated worms.
Yum.
Yeah, they eat them and then they baby.
Exactly. So do you want to do regurgitated worms, or are you going to feed your baby with the milk that you produce in your body?
Milk. Really, I don't think a lot will.
But that's what it is. So a cow. What else? Which other animal feeds its young?
Polar bears.
Polar bears.
Lions.
Lions. Tigers. So we're going on a cat. Cows.
Panda bears.
Panda bears.
Whales.
Yep.
I was going to say bears.
The whales actually. How?
Dolphins.
Well, they're mammals.
Sharks. Dolphins.
Dolphins. Just dissolve.
Dolphins.
No, it doesn't. Not if you've got your mouth on it. If the
Dolphins.
baby's got their mouth on it, it's not gonna come out. Is it?
Dolphins.
A dolphin's mammal.
Yeah.
Well, then there you go.
What's funny?
They have teeth like dogs and cats.
Yeah.
Dogs and cats.
Yeah. And pigs. And sheep. And all of that. So we're just the same as them, doing this. So if you've got the milk being produced in your body, what happens to you? What happens to you during pregnancy? Does anybody know what happens to you during pregnancy? Why do your boobs get bigger?
Your boobs get bigger because all the milk glands are like coming and that, and you're producing milk ready for the baby.
Are you actually producing milk during pregnancy?
I don't know. I think so. Oh no, you're not.
As soon as you give birth, there's a chemical reaction. A little hormone gets sent up and it says, right, start producing milk. And so you
So
start
your boobs get
producing-
bigger to like get ready for the milk.
They do, because those glands in there are starting to grow, so that you get the milk coming through and it starts producing the milk as soon as you're giving birth to your baby. So if that's the way your body works, do people think it's a natural thing to do, or you're still kind of on the, actually no, I'm not going to?
I think it's quite natural.